Okay, it's preparing to live stream the meeting. And we're now streaming live on the custom live streaming service to YouTube. So my name's Graham Hooper from Tri Coaching Partnership. This is Tony Phillips, one of Tri Coaching's trainers. Tony, we're going to kick off the interview, mate. Okay. Just tell me about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm a Londoner. I'm sure you can hear that from how I speak. I've lived in London all my life.
Can I just say that you're from South London?
Well, actually, I live in South London. I'm from North London.
Good boy.
I was born and brought up in Stoke Newington.
Oh, I know Stoke Newington.
And I've lived just about in all London, all the different north, east, south, and west of London. I've ended up south. Yeah, as you get older, you go south, don't you?
yeah, mate. I think you and me both. I'm in Kent now. Yeah, I've gone right south.
And except for like when I was a kid, we moved to Crawley when it was a new town. For about 6 months, my mum couldn't handle it. It was too far out of town. We moved back in. And so I spent about the first half of my life, if you like, about the first 30 years of my life in North London. And since then, I've been in South London, you know. Done lots of different things. One guy described me as a butterfly. And what I've done is over the years, I've flitted from one different skill to or profession to another, going through all range of different things. And ending up here as a driving instructor, you know. Okay,
so well, let's go back a bit before you become a driver. What was the flitting bits you did before you become a driving instructor?
Okay. In school, I got up with a band of reprobates and we formed a pop group, and I ended up being a pop star for a little while. I mean, should I tell you? Yes, of course.
Yeah, just tell us.
We won Opportunity Knocks, you know, and I've done various things I recorded at Abbey Road, played various gigs, etc. Played, with various different bands, etc. But that was it petered out after in my 20s.
Well, name a few. God, drop any names you like.
Right, okay. Well, the band that won Opportunity Knocks was a pop group called Strawberry Jam.
I remember Strawberry Jam.
No, you don't. But the next band was more of a heavy metal, or progressive rock. We was on John Peel. I'm actually our band. It was called Natural Gas, and it was mentioned on. It is actually, I think, on BBC's website still in the John Peel's testimonial page.
Okay, yeah, I sometimes have a bit of that.
Sorry?
I sometimes have a bit of that late at night. Yeah.
But so it was fun. It was great. But like a lot of people that go into music, most people don't get anywhere, and I didn't either. No, we didn't. But it was fun. It was great. It was really enjoyable. Whilst I was at school, I didn't do very well. I left early under a cloud, so to speak. But I got a job in the post office with my uncle. And I ended up, do you remember telegrams?
Yeah, I remember telegrams.
So I ended up being what they called a telegraphist. So I can actually type. I can touch type at 80 words a minute.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was playing bass in a band, and I was still working part-time, etc., doing this different types of work. And I ended up as a van driver for some years. I even worked in Billingsgate Market. I was in work at 5 a.m, and I'd come home in the afternoon stinking of fish, But
I was just thinking on a musical note that if you'd have met Mark Bogland, you could have been Telegram Tony.
We went to the same school.
Yeah. Well, why did you do Telegram Sam then?
It's a good point, actually. I never thought of that one. Telegram Tony would have been good, wouldn't it? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so with the telegraphy, etc., I became a telex operator. I don't know if anyone knows what that means, but basically it was an old system before emails. Okay, and big companies had big what they call telex rooms where people would take their messages down to the telex room and guys would type it up and send it across. And I ended up moving from the telex into the business side of a company, a trading company. I ended up what they called a freight trader. I ended up buying and selling oil tankers, ships. As a freight trader. Yeah, so completely, from one thing to the other, So I've done a whole load of different stuff. Whilst I was in that field, I always liked driving. And whilst I was in that field, near the end of it, I actually thought, you know what, I've got time. And I found out about the Institute of Advanced Motorists.
Okay, yeah.
And it's my wife. She knew I liked it. We're not married. We're still good friends, by the way. She lives down in Kent. She lives down in, where does she live? Barming in Kent, near Maidstone.
Okay.
Yeah. She saw an advert in the papers. I was doing IAM, and I was an observer, you know, for the IAM. And I'd lost my job. I was made redundant. It was when Saddam Hussein invaded Kuwait, and my company was left with a whole load of tonnage, a whole load of ships that I'd actually got for the company. And of course, it's suddenly losing loads of money. Like it was leaking hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. And suddenly it was all my fault, and they couldn't afford me anymore. So I said, that's it, you're out. So I was looking around for something to do, and I was an observer at the IAM. And my wife saw an advert for a driving instructor. She said, look, you like doing it as a hobby. Why don't you do it as a job? Because I was looking for something. And I really fancied the idea of it, because when I was an observer in the IAM, I actually really enjoyed helping these people do what I had just done, get through that advanced driving test. You know, I enjoyed that. And so basically I went to this company and, you know, learned to become a driving instructor. And then that was in, 1993?
Okay.
1993. I qualified in 1995.
Yeah, so, all right. So 25 years as an ADI.
Yeah, absolutely. What I found when I was made redundant is I was trying to get work, and I didn't have qualifications, you know. So when I became an ADI, I thought, no, that's not going to happen again. I'm going to load myself up with everything I can do. So
Cool.
I always, from then on, within a year of becoming an ADI, the company I worked for asked me if I'd like to come back and work part-time with them as a trainer. First part 2, and then part 3. And it was all PSTs.
I remember them days.
Don't we?
I remember them days.
The whole course was just PSTs. Anyway, when I joined there, I thought, okay, I've done that. And then I became, do you remember ADIT and DIARTI?
Yeah.
So I was on their registers. And then when ORDIT started up, I became on their register. And I've sort of been on the ORDIT register ever since, actually, since it first started. Excuse me. And then it was like the DIA, DIT DI. It's now called the DIT DI.
Yeah, I think I got that as well. I never got. I've got a certificate somewhere.
In a cupboard somewhere. Yeah. And then Cardington, Rosper Gold. All manner of different fleets. When I did Rosper Gold, then I did their diploma course.
Good. Yeah, that's a good course. I did that.
Yeah, and that was an automatic intro to becoming fleet. All you need to do is pay for your fleet badge.
Correct.
Then I did BTECs for this, that, and the next thing, you know. And I've sort of done various different things all the way through. I looked back on my files actually, and almost every year since 1995, 96, I've done a few things of CPD. Some not so good as others, but do you know what I mean? Because
I do know, Tony, because you know someone challenged me the other day about what puts you there, and he said, what's on your CV? And I said it in my CV, and the guy sent it back and went, oh blimey, because I've done what you've done. I did 1, 2 or 3 things a year. Well, I've been ADI 26 years. You multiply that by 2, that's 50 plus bits of CPD along the way. It's just some more challenging than others.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's taken you. So now, and I know you've carried on investing in your CPD. Well, while we're on the CPD, you got your Rosper diploma. What have you done CPD wise in the last, 5 years or so?
Well, okay, if you take this year, I mean, I got my audit read again, and do you know what? I had to really work for that, because since I last did audit, it completely changed. Yeah. Obviously, it's become totally client-centered. Whereas it was still sort of, even then, I felt I was sort of reasonably client-centered, even then when I did it last time out, but nothing like it is now. It really is goal setting. It really is. Yeah. Which is great, but to turn it around and think, now, how do I incorporate this, that, and the next thing? It's actually quite difficult. And I just looked, by the way, you know, I did the Try Coaching's presentation skills.
Oh, yeah, the presentation skills course. Yeah, what did you think of the presentation skills course?
It was great. I really enjoyed it. It was, I think, more than anything else. To be honest, one of the reasons why I got in a pop group is because I'm a little show-off and I just wanted to get up on stage. So I'm quite happy to be in front of people. You know, I quite enjoy it. I mean, as I say, I'm a little show-off, always have been. So I like that, but it was actually the various bits and pieces that went through it of how you incorporate it, you know, like the goal-setting sides of it, that type of thing, into the presentation, you know. Which was very interesting, very useful. And actually doing a video for myself, about myself, that's quite daunting in a way. So I like to talk about other things, but talking about yourself, it's quite difficult.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. And also because I wanted to do your trainer course.
Yep.
So I had to do your trainer course, which is fair enough. How can I conduct the course if I don't know what it's all about? So I did that as well last year.
Yeah.
As you know, last year I had quite a setback, health.
Yes. I remember having the call. I think that last year, was there another problem this year? I lose track as well, Tony.
No, it was last year.
It was last year. I was doing a presentation in Hastings.
Okay.
And I remember Leslie spoke to me on the way back.
It was last year.
Really?
And I did sort of drop off a bit the previous years because besides that one, I don't know if I should tell people what happened. I suppose it's okay to say.
Whatever you want, Tony. It's about you.
I had a heart attack. And that was in June. And in May, I got the all clear from the hospital to say that I'd got through prostate cancer.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic.
To have those two like that, you know. And because of the prostate cancer, that actually sort of threw me quite a bit for a couple of years. But even so, I worked through that. I mean, I know it's not quite the same thing because it's something that you have to do it, but for the types of work that you do. But I was doing a lot of speed awareness courses and WDU, you know, what's driving us courses for driving. Yeah. And of course, when they bring out the new courses, you have to go and reset or retrain for those courses, which I still consider to be CPD.
No, of course it is.
Because you learn something new, you learn different ways, you learn different things, you learn, you know, so it's CPD. I'll tell you what I also found interesting. It's only a day's course, but the Energy Savings Trust.
Okay, yeah.
I did it firstly a few years ago for the ICE, so internal combustion engine vehicles, and then a couple of years later for electric vehicles. Very interesting, very interesting. But the funny thing was, when I did the ICE one, do you know what it was like? Did you ever do SAFED for vans?
Yeah, well, I was a SAFED trainer. I was a SAFED trainer and SAFED trainer of trainers.
Right, okay. Yes. Well, when I did the Energy Savings Trust, it was SAFED. It was SAFED, really. SAFED's in a van. For anyone who doesn't know what we're talking about, safe and fuel efficient driving. It was turning white van man green.
Yep.
Wasn't it, really?
Absolutely.
Sorry?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you know, I launched a company off the back of that, the Big Red Fleet Company.
I remember that.
Yeah, you know, safe and fuel efficient driving for vans. I was heavily involved in that. Yeah. And it was, you know, I still use elements of that today.
Well, why not? It's eco-safe driving. It's good driving. It's good driving. Simple as that, you know. But I found that was pretty good, and I enjoyed it actually. It was a good day, and I don't know why other ADIs don't do it. It's a free course. It's a free course, and by the way, they give you a pretty good lunch as well.
Well, that's not too shabby. Yeah, I want with your CPD, because you're one of our trainers. You obviously did the BTEC level 4 professional awarding coaching for driver development.
Yeah, that was even further back.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and the Accelerate course. I still want to get that Accelerate course up and running again. But because I was ill, it all sort of went, with the
of course.
But the BTEC course was, for me, the BTEC course was a turning point.
Yeah, because I want to go this way, because I remember when I was at the University of East London and I was pro coaching. I remember Tony Phillips writing in the MSA magazine, and he was, I'd say you probably had the biggest splinters up your backside any man could have at that time, because I'm not even sure if you quite were still climbing the fence to sit on it, or just got stuck halfway up. I'm not too sure.
Okay, well, there's a few things, and I'd really love to clear the air on that. First of all, it's the first time I've been face to face with Sir Hugh?
John Whitmore.
Yeah, John Whitmore. And I know that he was God rest his soul, but I know he was an absolute guru. And I really understand. And I did read, what's that famous?
Coaching for Performance?
Yeah, Coaching for Performance. And I really got what it was about. But he was standing there, and for some reason, he was like spitting fire and brimstone at everybody, because he was obviously very passionate about it. But what it was, he was sort of preaching to the converted, to a lot of the people there.
Yeah.
And there were some people that wanted to be converted. And I wanted to be converted. I wanted to be convinced. And he didn't convince me because he was so passionate in the way that he was talking. And I'll tell you something else. Do you remember a business organisation called BNI?
Yeah, Business Network International.
So just for everyone who's watching, it's a breakfast club. There's nothing wrong. It's a great idea. Different businesses meet 1 day a week. It's all pre-arranged. A business meeting. You have breakfast together, and every person there is representing a different type of business. And so they all stand up, and effectively they become a network group, and they're selling what they're doing. They're telling everyone what they're looking for, what they want in their business, and everyone else is supposed to be their sales staff, their salesperson. And so people should be selling. And so I was there, and every single one of these groups, wherever you go, you'll find a business and life coach. And I got quite chatty with a guy there, and I'm just thinking of his name. He's a good lad. And he said to me, look, as a coach, I can go into a factory that's selling widgets, and then I can go into an international business, banking or whatever, and I have no idea about their business. But I know that there's ways that I can ask them and talk to them that will actually help them work out what it is they want to do. Coaching.
Yep.
And then I said to myself, well, here's these people spouting off about coaching, this blinking Graham Hooper and there's this blinking Sue McCormack, etc., spouting off. How can I be a coach and as a driving instructor if I know about the business itself? Do you see what I mean?
I know, yes.
And so that was but I was really curious because I knew there was something there. So as for everyone that doesn't know, my partner Leslie is also an ADI. And I said, come on. Oh, and there was a guy that we both trained. I don't know if you remember him, Phil Plant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I helped him with his part 2 and you helped him with his part 3. And he came to me a couple of times because he was working up in London. Yeah. And I think he did the BTEC for.
He did, yes.
Yeah, a good lad, sort of thing.
Yes, yeah. Good lad as long as you don't want to stab you.
And he said, you should try it. So I said to Les, come on, let's bite the bullet. And we did it. And it was that first one when we were talking about rapport. And I thought, this is, when you first learn how to actually, like talk through, when someone's first learning to drive, and there's that secret of actually getting the words out in time to help the person get it done before, because
before it happens, yeah.
Yeah. There's that gestalt moment. There's that light that switches on. He's like, and that's when I suddenly thought, right, okay, I think I get this. And that's when it went on for me. And I have to say, this is no word of a lie, because I could have done a coaching course with someone else, but I did it with you. yourselves, you know, and it may have been a great coaching course, but the fact is, I did it with yourselves, and it's been a life changer, to be honest with you.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, I think, you know, ourselves, we were surprised. We didn't know it was going to be, the course was going to be a life changer. It's not a life changer for everyone, but so many people have gained so much out of it.
Yeah.
The value of the course is completely it's the most undervalued course, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, one of the issues is that people look how much it costs as opposed to what do I get out of it, you know.
And it's hard to describe what you're going to get out of it because everyone's individual, Tony, and as you know, and everybody gets their own thing out of it, which is the great thing about the course. Absolutely. And of course, then again, the same knock-on effect into the pupils.
Absolutely.
Clients.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So yeah, you know, but it's not just in terms of our profession, but it's in terms of life. I mean, personally, without going into too much detail, I've helped someone very close to me who is having a lot of problems, and getting her out of a problem, and helped her really through it by using those coaching skills, you know. To help her out, get her back on track. So it's been very helpful, very helpful.
Okay. What do you get up to apart from I saw you at the pub on Wednesday evening with your young lady looking gorgeous on the couch? She was. Yeah, we got and we had a couple of bevies. I actually had a hangover the next day.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, I haven't been drinking, so I had 2 bottles of beer and half a bottle of wine and got a hangover. Okay. So that was novel. But what do you get up to in your spare time now? What do you do outside work?
Well, to be honest, I shouldn't have done, but I don't. I've put down my guitar. Yeah. And I'm really thinking that I really want to get a guitar. But I used to play the bass, but I'd rather just get a nice 12-string acoustic and just get back into actually really trying to play. I know it. Well, no, it's not silly. I love cooking. And I really love Indian food. And I'm really working on getting that really, you know, that yummy taste that you get from an Indian restaurant that you can't get at home. That's working on getting. You know, the secret.
Well, they're great. So good. What are you looking for now in terms of your career development? Because I don't want to touch on this, but I know you're about 55 currently. Well, I mean, maths ain't all that good, Tony. You know that, mate.
On a good day. Well, look, the thing is, you know what? This lockdown has been quite an eye-opener. Because I thought, well, okay, what I want to do really is I'd love to be able to retire, but I don't want to retire. That's the first thing. I'd like to keep on going until, with all due respect, sorry about it, sounds a bit morbid, until I drop dead, really, because...
Okay. I mean, look, joking aside, I mean, how old are you now, Tony?
69. I'm 70 in October.
70 in October. So I just want to say, you know, old dogs and new tricks, man. You are amazing. You know, 70 years old, still learning, still going. Well, but it's true. The last 10 years, you've invested in yourself again and again and again.
Yeah.
You know.
I would like to be honest. I don't want to work full time, 40 hours a week, blah 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 blah. You know, 2-3 days a week, maximum 4 days a week. I want to continue doing ADI training, okay, PDI training, standards check will help. That's why I like, with all due respect, like being with yourselves, because it's a lovely conduit to have business. But obviously, I know that what I would love to learn is, if you like. At such a late stage in life, is how to market myself.
What is it? Hey, there's never too late. I mean, did we not have a little tutorial about Facebook before we started this afternoon?
We did. Oh, we did. We did.
So I mean, and did some learning take place?
It did take place. It did.
Yeah, so
I'm going to do that. Also, we were talking to Di the other day, and You know, how often do you blog on your website? I've got a website, I'm paying for it, and I'm not doing anything with it. So I'm going to type up. Well, as you know, one thing I did do when you talked about MSA is I was editor of the year, 2 years running for MSA on Newslink, sometime about 10 years ago now. So I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to send in articles to the trade press at the moment, but I think I'd be very good at doing blogs on a website.
Yeah. So, I mean, Tony, look, you can vlog. So now you've done the presentation skills, you can vlogs.
Yeah, I can vlog. Yeah,
do some vlog. Yeah.
So that's the next thing, but one step at a time. You know,
well, you've got this, because when we finish with this, I will send you a link to this video and you can vlog it.
Oh, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So there's that. I'd like to do that. I'd like to continue. But you know something I would really quite fancy doing? Counselling. I'd somehow become a counsellor. Because I do well, you do them, I think, as well, the drink driving courses.
I don't. Sue and Di do them. I've stepped away from virtually everything now, apart from my role in Tri-Coaching Partnership.
Okay, do you know what? I love those. You've got these people that come in, and a lot of them obviously are very angry. It's not so much the speed awareness courses. I was doing 36 and a 30, that sort of thing. I'll get over it. So I feel that sometimes. But someone's coming. They've lost their lives. The license is gone. Their job's gone. With some people, their wife's left them. They've lost their lives in many respects. And they're angry, they're upset, they're miserable, they don't know what they're going to do. And to help them, you're giving them their life back almost. I mean, that's great. That is
okay. So I'm going to ask you for then, based around this, because I find this interesting. What 5 words would describe your character?
How many words? 5 words.
5 words. 5, yes.
Well, character I don't know, but me possibly small but well put together.
Small but well put together. Very good. 5. Okay, we'll go with small but well put together. Okay.
On the hot, that one.
I don't know what's your greatest achievement outside of work?
Oh, I would say 3 beautiful daughters.
Yeah.
3 beautiful daughters. One of them used to be, 2 of them are married and got beautiful grandchildren. But the oldest one used to be a practice nurse, but she doesn't work in her husband. Her husband is quite a high flyer. She stays at home, but she was a practice. She did very well to a practice nurse. My middle daughter, she's down in Kent. Well, the oldest one is in Birmingham. The middle one lives in Kent, near her mum, and she's got all in the medical profession. She's got an excellent job. She's
okay.
Married. The last one, very quickly, manages a ward of psychiatric wards. She's a psychiatric nurse.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, the way things are going, I'll probably end up one of her customers. Yeah. Okay. What have you got? I'm listening to you now. You're what, 69 years old? Yeah. Do you have a personal sort of mission statement? Do you have, is there something that sort of drives you?
I suppose I don't actually have a mission statement. It's like a lot of people type it out and it's really good. And I would just love to do more, keep going, do better, and help people with it along the way somehow. That's you see. I don't know if that's a good way of saying it or.
No, I have a big question for you. This is a real. This is the big question, the big interview question. Yeah, that I know some people have struggled with, but but it is the one that has to be answered. How do you think I rate as an interviewer?
How would you say you rated an interviewer?
Now, I don't want a bloody question. just spit it out, son. Yeah.
Well, okay. I've not really been interviewed before, so this is the first time like this. But on a scale of 0 to 10?
Oh no, we'll move on. Right.
Okay. No, good, because I think
Okay.
you drew out of me what what needed to be sort of said and what needed to be shown. So it was good.
Okay, thank you. Right, changing the subject. What kind of car do you drive?
Oh, it's a Kia Niro. I call it Robert.
Okay, so you drive Robert. Yeah, don't shorten the name and call it Bob or anything like that.
Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro. Okay, good one. All right.
It's hybrid.
Okay. There's no right or wrong answer here, but if you could be anywhere in the world right now, where would you choose to be?
Tuscany.
Where COVID's gone, mate. I've wiped it. Yeah.
Tuscany.
Tuscany.
Yeah. It's a lovely part.
Nice.
We've been there many times. It's a lovely part of the world.
Yeah. So do you like the wine or the food?
It's the place, the atmosphere, the feel. Yes, the wine and the food, of course. But it's just a beautiful place. We just fell in love with it many years ago. And we've been going down there many years ever since, many years. But we were going to go this year. We drive down, we stop in France overnight. And then and we stay in this lovely, great big sort of holiday complex place. It's beautiful. And we just love it there. Just love it.
Fantastic. What was the last book you read, Tony?
The last book I read. Do you know, I haven't read books for years, but I listen to books.
Okay. Well, what was the last one you listened to?
It was Attenborough, David, Life on Earth.
Life on Earth. Okay.
David Attenborough, Life on Earth.
All right. What's the best movie or best box set you've watched in the last year?
In the last year, do you know what? There was a great little movie that we watched the other night, and it was just brilliant. It was called The Hustler or The Hustle. And name with the actors in it, I can't. I know the actors, I can see them, but I can't remember the names. It was just such a clever little film. It was just great. I really loved it. Oh, I'd see another film, as a better one, Jojo Rabbit.
Okay.
It will make you laugh, then it will make you cry.
I don't think I've seen Jojo Rabbit, so I'm going to save that for when I can watch it with somebody else then.
Yeah, it'll make you laugh and then it'll make you cry.
Okay. All right. So what would you do if you won a lottery?
Depends how much it was, doesn't it?
Well, it's the big one. It's, 20 million. Yeah.
Well, obviously, I think that obviously share the money out with family, because obviously there's no point in being a multi-millionaire and everyone else can't afford to do the things that you do together. So you've all got to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think that you could easily get into. I don't like golf. I know a lot of it. You like golf, don't you?
Yeah, I like golf.
I don't like golf. I think I'd like to go around the world when COVID's gone, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think, do you know what? I'd like to do something where you're helping people, but in a long-term way, not in a soup kitchen, which is that sort of thing, which is obviously very good. But you know that old expression: you give them a fish, you feed them a meal, teach them how to fish, you feed them for life.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Something that really helps people in long term. You know.
So, have you any heroes in life? Have you had any heroes or anybody that you think you've looked up to? And they can be any heroes. They can be anyone. You know.
What's my dad?
Your dad, nice one.
He died far too young. He died when I was a teenager, but he was a great dad. He was a great dad, but he was a tough cookie as well. But he was a great dad, you know. So I suppose if anyone, really, it would be him.
Okay, cool. I've got two more questions.
Go on then.
Two more. This one, I really want to know what the answer is to this one. If you were an animal, which one would you want to be?
Meerkat.
A meerkat.
Meerkat.
Okay, the little.
Yeah, but they're crazy, great animals. Great animals, and they're team players.
Okay. And the final question, yeah. If you could choose one superhero power,
yeah,
what would it be and why?
Easy.
Go on in.
To fly.
A fly.
To fly.
To fly.
To fly.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Because you can soar above it, soar everywhere, and one of the things, if I won the money, by the way, I'd love to learn to fly an aeroplane. So I'd love to fly because it's exhilarating.
Okay, all I can do actually, I'm just going to, I'll change my background now. Bear with me. Yeah, I could. This is me. If I move,
is that me flying? Yeah.
I don't know, move my chair. But yeah, that's me with a bald head. Yeah, not the guy there with a beard. That's me flying.
Yeah, do you know what it is? Where it is?
Yeah, it's over Wollongong in Australia.
Oh, it's Australia, is it?
Okay. Yeah. I jumped out of a plane with that man strapped to me at 12,000 feet. And technically, I'm flying now because he ain't opened the parachute.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. So we're free falling.
And when was that?
That was January last year.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a buzz. If anything's going to give you're going to get a heart attack, Tony. You have a go at that, mate. I'll tell you, the adrenaline going through you. You know, adrenaline's brown, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what a buzz. Fantastic. Okay, Tony, thank you for being on my interview today. Is there anything you want to say before I come off the live stream?
No, except, well, I suppose just to say, yeah, I actually really quite enjoyed it. It was good fun.
Excellent. Okay, so goodbye, everyone.